Hello viewers, welcome to my show. Now today I'd like to share with you a brief story about something that I discovered during the week. And in addition to that, we have a very special guest in our midst, and many of you already know him. And I would like to share it with you in the next coming video. Anyway, many of you already know me. I am a fashion designer, I'm a makeup artist, and now a YouTuber. It's your girl, ADEZ. See you in the next video. Hello viewers, and welcome back to my show. Just like I previously said, I would like to share with you a video on child abuse. And in addition to that, I have very special and vital information that will help as many of you that are looking for ways to overcome this child abuse of a thing. But before we start that, we have a very special guest in our midst, which all of you already know him. He is a comedian and he is a singer and an actor. So there is no other person other than Mr. Jimmy White.
Whoa. How are you, ADEZ?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wow, you're looking good. Look at the way you're smiling. Everywhere's looking good. Wow.
So, Mr. Jimmy White, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm very, very fine. You can see I took jets. The jet is what to me. I brought it to this place.
So, Mr. Jimmy White, I would like for you to introduce yourself to the viewers and tell them more about yourself.
Yeah, viewers, you know me already. My name is AKA Jimmy White, Akara One of Ihalalam. Oh, anyone is at the back. I'm the chief dancer of my place. If I talk, everything will happen. If I don't talk, that's the side table stand still. Anyway, I sing, I am an entertainer, I'm a musician, and I do comedy. You can see most of my entertainment, some of the things that I do, creativity that I do on my page, and it's called Jimmy White TV. Go check me out there. Check out my music on Spotify at Jimmy White Ararumi. You're going to hear Ararumi and Kuluma Tempa. Go and check them out in all platforms. Just Google Jimmy White Arabic. Boom! I'll appear like a ghost. Boom! That is me. So and that is what I do all the time, and put smile on people's face, and I'm happy to be in ADEZ. And also subscribe ADEZ. Always subscribe ADEZ and Jimmy White.
Okay, viewers, just like Mr. Jimmy said, please do subscribe on his channel and his music and other upcoming music that he may have. And please do encourage him too, so that he can bring out more music.
That is what I say in Yoruba. To subscribe to us, ADEZ and Jimmy White. Boom.
Okay, viewers. So I would like to play the video and also share it with Mr. Jimmy White.
Yeah.
So we'll be playing the video now. So I would like for you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Wow, let's watch this video. I've been watching this, I've been seeing this. Let's see this video. Wow.
Hannah was born April 9th of 1999. It's our youngest son's daughter. Her parents became separated. We noticed hair pulled out, bruising in odd places where a 2-year-old child wouldn't normally be bruised just from a fall. We were told she fell off some playground equipment and fractured her wrist. Not too long, she was in the hospital for her face and neck and shoulder was all bruised. She was very lethargic. She was throwing up. The birth mother had told the ER staff that she had fallen off playground equipment again. It was apparent to me that it wasn't a fall. I was very concerned about it. I went back out in the emergency room, the reception desk, and I quietly asked her, I said, I do not believe this was an accident. I said, what can be done about this? And All I got from her was an 800 number for CPS, and she told me if I have any concerns to call that number and talk to them about it. 10 days after I had called CPS, Joanne, my wife, got a call. It was too late. She's down here in the hospital. You needed to come down to the emergency room. We were met with a Child Protective Services worker and a police detective, and they told us that Hannah had been shaken.
There was this little baby that I took care of in the operating room about 2 years ago that was about 15 months old, and he had been abused by a member of his family. And I couldn't help but look at him and think of my own little children that were about the same age at the time, and imagine if they had been beaten like that and if they had suffered like that without anyone looking out for them. I couldn't imagine another child going through that sort of circumstance without someone standing between them and the person that was hurting them like that. And I promised that little baby that even though I couldn't save him in that moment, that if there was another little baby that I could help, that I would.
The care team was actually started in 1994, primarily just seeing victims of sexual abuse and doing those medical evaluations. I think the first year they saw around 300 children, and we expanded. We started seeing more and more of the physical abuse cases. Now we see just in care team around 1,400 children a year. We've grown exponentially, and we'd like to stop growing.
When little children come in with injuries like that, the fatal injuries, they often have a previous injury that was either missed or not reported in a medical setting. And so I thought that since I hadn't received much education on the topic, that maybe others in other specialties and pediatricians maybe hadn't received as much education as is necessary on child abuse and neglect.
Dr. Daly came to me over a year ago wanting to do an education program and asked what my opinion was and if I would help her and help back it. And I was like, absolutely, that sounds like a wonderful idea. And so that's how it all started. And it just exploded.
As we spoke to people, everyone was so supportive and interested in learning more about it. And I thought, well, maybe instead of just asking for something like an improved screening question, maybe we should start a center for prevention of child maltreatment. And I came up with a proposal, and there hasn't been one level of the administration inside of Cook Children's that hasn't been overwhelmingly, completely supportive of the project. The Center for Prevention of Child Maltreatment is part of the Center for Children's Health, which is under the corporate structure of the Cook Children's healthcare system, whereas the care team is part of the medical center. The word maltreatment includes abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, physical abuse, bullying, sex trafficking, all of the different types of abuse and neglect that may occur with children. The difference between our center and other areas inside the medical center, like the care team that care for children that come in and have already been abused, our focus is on primary prevention and some secondary prevention as well. Our goal is to get upstream of the problem and to stop the abuse before it starts.
It's through the center that we already are learning so much about our community resources and what's available and what's not available. And through the center, we're looking at groundbreaking research to evaluate and try to predict when abuse or where abuse may happen, so that we can step in beforehand with resources for those families that they so desperately need.
We've identified a series of risk factors that are known in the literature and research by places like the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institute of Health, and also protective factors, things that might inhibit child maltreatment from occurring. And we're looking to see where these things exist in the community on as small of a level as we can, and looking to see what resources are available so that we can all learn together ways to create a community that will help to support safe families and children that are being brought up in a way that encourages their growth and their health instead of damaging them. In Texas, about 80% of children that die from child maltreatment are 0 to 3 years old. There are lots of temper tantrums and developmental changes, and they don't necessarily respond to reason. Sometimes babies can cry up to 5 hours a day for no reason at all, and it's completely normal. And so people can get really frustrated with little children. They can't speak out for themselves. Often they don't even know that what's happening to them is wrong. So there's safety in that a little for the abuser. And those kids aren't in school. A lot of times they're not in church or in daycare. They may not go for very many preventive medical appointments.
The majority of abuse is neglect. And I would say that most of those children never go to a medical provider because there's not actual injuries or physical things that seem to warrant a physical exam.
We only have a small window of opportunity to notice these kids when they do come into a medical setting, and we may be the only people that have the amount of information that's necessary to establish risk. It is incredibly important for all of us to know that the burden for that discovery is on us, because we may be the only ones that examine that child before they come in with a serious injury.
If abuse is perceived and recognized, not only how do we keep it from happening again, but how do we help that child heal? The majority of the children, we can fix their physical injuries, but the emotional is a lot more difficult.
She's now 15 and a half and doing well. Mentally, she's around 5 or 6 year old level. There's not much hope of her getting much past that level. It's a life sentence for her for this few seconds of falseness. You have to keep an eye on her 24/7, and that leaves you no time to do what you want to do or thought you could do someday. She's the first victim serving a life sentence, but it's done the same thing to a lot of other people. A lot of people have been impacted by her abuse.
What would Hannah have been? What would she have contributed to society if she hadn't been injured? You can't measure that. The center is essential for our community and for the prevention of child abuse. Have every child reach their fullest potential.
My dream for this is to find a way to protect the kids that are dying. I don't ever want to see another little 15-month-old like that come through the OR and know that they suffered at the hands of their caregiver. To educate people, to see people work together to enrich the lives of the children around them instead of following the path that these children follow now, which is illness and incarceration and violence and repetition of abuse when they become adults. I'd like to find a way to stop that so that we can have a healthy community with safe children.
Wow, viewers.
This is touching.
I'm sure that you all were touched by this very story. Wow, and Mr. Jimmy White, I'm sure that you were also touched. So, Mr. Jimmy White.
This is touching.
So, Mr. Jimmy White, after watching this video, what are your opinions about this video?
Wow. I was speechless. First of all, I was watching the two parents that was speaking about their child who was abused.
Yeah.
And the child has really grown. I was imagining a beautiful child like this. What would this person be thinking to abuse a little child at that tender age? And making this child growing at this age, that's making this child growing at this age, having that fear of abuse when they grow. So I imagine, I was just like thinking, what of other children that have been affected with that kind of way, that have been abused like that, that they have all grown and they are having the fears of that abuse. I remember somebody telling me of how she was raped, when she was raped when she was very tender, and that was the person has been arrested by the police. Now the person is in the prison. And you see, even up till now, that girl still lived with the fear of that because she couldn't come close to anything that is called a man. So I was imagining, and other things that I heard from these ladies that we are talking about, children that are neglected, not being taken to the hospital for medical checkup. I'm saying this to some parents that are there. There's so many parents, there's so many parents. I used to imagine how so many parents that have gone out to go out and make a medical checkup in every area to see that they have a child.
Yeah.
And when they have this child, they forget that this child also needs a medical care.
Yeah, treatment.
And it ends up that this child will be sick or this child will be neglected in every area and fall sick, and many of them will not live and die.
Yeah.
I talk to parents, wherever they are, please, I want you to take this your show platform. Let parents know that those ones, that you know that children are very important to the society. They are the futures and the leaders of tomorrow. So they are, because as we are getting old, they are coming up. And if there is nobody on the planet Earth, if the children are not there, there's nobody will be on the planet Earth. So we should know how to take care of them. And lastly, to talk about what I'm saying, to say the lastly, and you can see that is why all these organizations are being set up.
Yeah.
We have to speak, talk. Wherever you are, that you have been neglected in any area, abused and neglected in any kind of abuse, there are people like this that we should meet up to. Or you call the police. Or you speak to the police. If you can't, find somebody close to you that you can speak with.
Yeah.
I think that is where I will hang for now.
Okay, Mr. Jimmy White. So that's where I need to bring up these questions. So the first question is, what are the best ways of taking action against abuse?
I think the best way of taking action, like most of the things that I put here, important is to believe in first of all, is to believe what they have said.
Yeah.
So most people don't believe what they have said. Most people find out when somebody, because sometimes when people say something that happened to them, some people just neglect them, forget about, don't believe in them. So we should learn how to believe these people, learn how to believe people that are victims to this abuse.
Yeah.
Because when they are being believed, it helps them to be relieved.
Yeah.
To be relieved. That is, they help them to relieve and live a life of relief from that thing that happened. At least they have seen somebody listening to them.
Yeah.
We should call them and bring them and listen to them and find a way to help them.
Yeah.
And the second one is, we should be patient with them. We should have patience with them in every area. We should be patient with them. Patient by listening, not only listening, patient in everything. Make sure that we do what? We advise them.
Yeah.
Patient in advising them.
Yeah.
You understand me? But most people are not patient with them. They are not really patient. So we should learn how to be patient. And the last one, the last but not the least, is learn about safety planning.
Yeah.
We should learn about safety planning, how to plan. This is the most important thing this is the most important thing anyone can do to help and protect an abuse victim, by putting in place a safety plan created to help the victim. We should make in place safety plan how we can help this victim to come out of this and be relieved. And lastly, we should advertise self-care. We should practice we should practice self-care. You understand me? Remember, when helping an abused victim, you also have to take care of yourself, because hearing those traumas, those stories also traumatize us. It also make us. It's because it's so emotional. Yeah. It's so emotional that it's so emotional that the emotional story that comes from the victim is so incredibly draining. It's incredibly that you hearing it. Yeah. You also will be so bad. Yeah. You might not be able to take it. So you have to learn how to take care of yourself. You can be able to help that victim at that very time. Don't be a victim to the same victim. Because I know when you hear the story, some people will be so sad and they will not know what to do. No, you have to be confident. And learn how to take it and listen to the victim so that you can learn how to help the victim or find another lasting solution to see that this victim is alright. I think that is where I will stop for now.
Okay, so now the next question is, what are the things people can do to help it stop?
The thing that people can help to help it stop is that they stay calm. Yeah. Stay calm. Stay calm. Yeah. If you are a victim to it, stay calm. Wherever you are, be calm.
Yeah.
when you escape, be calm, and when you are calm, then you understand the next step you will take.
Yeah.
Then tell somebody, make sure you tell somebody, any nearest police, any nearest thing, anywhere you can Google, whether your phone, wherever you can meet somebody. Google something, find somebody, find the nearest thing. Even if it's possible, send somebody like ADEZ, like this prevention of child abuse, and police and UNICEF, as many organizations that you can know.
Yeah.
And somebody close to you, make sure you do what you tell them.
Yeah.
And also keep a copy of whatever happened. If you have a video of what happened, if you have a record copy or whatever, or you can write up whatever, so that because of that very time you are pretty traumatized. So you can quickly write up something, write something down, write it down somewhere when you are calm, write it down somewhere so that you can, when you are explaining, you can explain it up to the understanding of the person that will help you.
Okay.
And the last thing, keep copy of everything that you do, so that and the lastly of all, you should know that in anything that when you are being abused, find a way of escaping.
Yeah.
Any way, whether it's through hole, through anywhere, find a way. Whether it's to disappear, anyhow you will run. And those of you that are those ones that look to do abusing. That their name is called abuse. From the day they were born, they were called abusers. Those pedophiles, those people that used to abuse all these little things.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Just know that police is close to you. They are not too far away. They are close. They are close. UK police, they have always tell everybody, we are close to you. They are coming to get you.
Yeah.
You will be get by the law not too long.
Mm.
Every day for the thief.
One day for the owner.
Monkey go market, you know, go come back again. No? It means that when monkey go to the it will not come back again. And it will not come back again. It can't come back to the barrack again. And that is why they say when soldier go, soldier come. Okay. When soldier is in the barrack, no more soldier. This time there's a soldier, and that soldier is a police officer coming to your door. So please, I beg you, if you know you are filled with this kind of thing, I beg you to please find. You can also find an agency that can help you out of it. Go and tell them, I am an abuser, I do this, I do that, I do this. They can help you out. Or you talk to people like that, or come to prevention. So many things. Talk to the even if you are scared of police, go and talk to an organization. They will teach you how to come out of it. And for you to be, because it is life imprisonment, so many years away in prison. Think of it. So that is what I will tell you. Thank you for hearing.
Okay, and the last question is, what can the people do to challenge this abuse?
What can the people do to challenge this abuse? Like I said before, what people do to challenge this abuse is by doing what? Is by making sure that they believe, help the people, go to the professionals, report, say it and shout it. Make any way. If it was great, shout, shout at him. It is him, it is him, it is him. It is not any other person. Catch him. Catch him. Like that my music I used to say, catch him, every day you come alive to steal, catch abusers, where you keep on every day you come alive to steal. But I'm going to change this way. They say, catch abusers, where you keep on every day you taste of one man, catch abusers, listen, where you keep on every day you come alive to steal, make you they see, police, they come, police, they come, catch lock am for prison. Yeah, police is coming. Catch it and lock in the prison. But I know that through this thing, we all will change. All of you will change. You understand me? And turn a new leaf and leave our kids alone. Leave children alone. They are innocent. Leave people alone. Stop people. They can go. Not only this both adults. Don't
Yeah.
abuse your fellow adult.
Yeah.
Don't make them stop going online. Online is not for abusing. It's for us to socialize.
Yeah.
You understand me? Leave our little kid. Don't go and abuse a teenager, a young child that doesn't know anything, because they curse on you.
Yeah.
Even if they don't catch you, you'll be cursed on it, and the repercussion is grace. Eh?
Yeah.
That is what I'll tell you.
Okay, guys, we have come to the end of the show. So, like he said, be positive, take action, and do not be afraid to speak out. Just like I always say, it's not the end of the world. No child should be born into this world to suffer. Because these stories is happening in reality, and it's not good for any child to suffer. So thank you all very much for watching. God bless you all. Stay safe during this pandemic, and we'll see you in the next video. Once again, it's your girl ADEZ. Please continue to subscribe. Please continue to like me. And again, Mr. Jimmy White, thank you very much for coming, and we hope to see you again in the next upcoming video.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah. When you say bye, no bye, hold your bye. But I want to say it's your boy, Jimmy White. It's your girl like that. It's your boy, Jimmy White. The only one of the land. Please subscribe. Subscribe. The subscribing button is not too far away. It's called red button. That is the road of Kwakata. When you Kwakata, subscribe me. Please. Thank you very much. See you like they say. Bye.